Hello and welcome to Heavenly Album Covers. Here we are on the cusp of Christmas Eve 2023. Everything that was supposed to happen this year happened, and those things that didn't happen were never supposed to happen in the first place. Right now we're going to look at a bunch of album covers that don't really fit into any distinct category. They're kind of stray album covers that don't have a home, but they're worthy of a quick look anyway. And we're going to start with the Staffmen, and here are the Staffmen and a woman in the back. She's a staff woman, and this album is called For God and Country. And the Staffmen put out quite a few albums. I think I even have another Staffmen album somewhere in the piles. And this is an interesting album cover. It's very light green with dark green lettering here. And I'm not sure what's happening with this loop. It's a red, white, and blue loop that's framing the Staffman and the staff woman. It's pretty patriotic. It's just kind of odd. Here's the Bible with the candle next to it and a bookmark. And I think there's a tiny picture of the staff people on the back. There they are. And they actually put the Pledge of Allegiance on the back also, in case anyone forgot it. So those are the Staffmen and one woman. Here are the Krause brothers and their evangelistic team. This album is called The Wonder of It All. This is a fairly common album, and the Krause brothers put out quite a few albums and were very popular. They were like a streamlined hillbilly country music group that played gospel music, and here they are on the back. They really had their stuff together. They had a xylophone player, banjo, female bass player, and a guitar player, and they really jammed it really good when they did jam it. And they were out of Everett, Washington, and this is a pleasant cover. They're standing in some sort of swamp, and the cover seems a little bit faded, but they're all very happy. The Krause brothers and either their sisters or their wives, I'm not sure, but they're all dressed up, ready to play. Next we have Ralph Hart. This album is called Child of the King. It features 6 little vignettes of Ralph Hart. Here he is getting on his airplane. Here he is again getting maybe off the airplane. Here he is waving from the airplane staircase. And here's Ralph Hart again on the staircase of the airplane. Here's Ralph Hart checking his baggage at TWA. And finally here's Ralph Hart demonstrating how a map works. And this is a really nicely designed album cover. The squares and the color, really bright red and bright green on the lettering. And of course there are many other pictures of Ralph Hart, just dozens and thousands of more pictures of Ralph Hart on his ministry around the world. He got around, and looks like he sang songs also. So this is Ralph Hart, Child of the King. Next up we have the Kitty Corner, and it's a children's record. And here are some children out in a rural setting. It's hard to say that word, rural setting. And this is a children's history of the United States in story and song. I'm not sure what these kids are looking at, but they seem real fascinated with something that's over here. Maybe they're looking at the lettering here in the sky, but Here's some kids from the 1950s or 60s, and they're looking for something with more meaning and with more deepness and validity, I think, these kids. So the record label on this Kitty Corner album is really simple. It's got like a title and just simple font, simple design, no graphics. Next we have Mary Kay Miller, and her album is called Handcuffed to a Heartache. And Mary Kay Miller had a couple of albums. She's right here on the cover. She's all dressed up, and she's handcuffed to a heartache. This album is on Energy Records, and there she is again. Energy is spelled I-N-E-R-G-I, and Mary Kay is a country western singer, pop singer, and I really like this cover, and the album title is great, very humorous. Next up are the Coal Diggers with Happy Tony. It's a polka record, and it's called Oh Yeah, It's Payday at the Polka Party. And here's the group. It looks like they're in a beer hall or a cellar or something playing polka music. And this album states that it's the greatest polkas ever put on record, recorded live with a dancing and singing audience. So the album is bright yellow with red and black lettering. It's very stark, very effective, and kind of a boring back cover. And but this lettering is nice up here. The album is the Coal Diggers with Happy Tony and his Penzi pals, and Moha Marish. Sophie. Oh, those are the song titles. Okay. And this is on Somerset Records. Next up is a recent acquisition. It's all taped up with masking tape, but it was still worth picking up. It's Huckleberry Hound, the great Kellogg's TV show. And there's Huckleberry Hound and all the characters here. The mice and the dog and the cat over here. And the voices here are done by Daws Butler and Don Messick. Both were extremely popular and well-known voice people in the cartoon business. And this is a Hanna-Barbera record. I listened to a little bit of it. It's very scratchy, but it's fun to hear the voices of the characters. And there's Daws Butler there, and Don Messick. Don Messick, I think, was a TV announcer. And look at these liner notes, are just really tiny and very extensive. And I'm not sure when this came out, probably early 60s. And it's got that record has a shiny gold label. They put out the money for a shiny gold label. Next up is a comedy album by Chris Webber. There's Chris in a drawing with, I think that's him, 3 times. I'm not sure unless that's his trio or something. The cover is signed to Gladys. Thanks for a great week, from Chris Weaver. The cover features a big white heart and some standard kind of country lettering at the top. And this was live from the heart of the Poconos. And there's Chris Weaver. Actually, it's not a comedy album. It's a looks like it's a straight singing album. He does a bunch of standards here, so I was mistaken. It's not a comedy album unless he does comedy between the songs. But here's Chris Weaver. Here's a woman down here in a ape suit, and she's there with Chris Weaver. Next up are Kidder and Sons Incorporated. There they are. And it looks like a family group. There's the dad and the sons right there. They're all dressed up in beige tuxedos, and they're framed in a kind of a locket motif there. The album itself, the cover is covered in huge lettering. It's called All in the Family. Those letters are gigantic, and the background is very intricate. It's like a tie-dye, red and light red tie-dye pattern in the background. And here are the Kidder folks, the Kidder family, and there they are. They're ready to go on stage and play some songs and sing. They look like they're really enthusiastic, and they do lots of standards. They actually do a Phil Oakes song here, Draft Dodger Rag, which is very strange, and and they do Mr. Bassman, and this is some sort of variety newspaper fellow. So this is Kidder and Sons, All in the Family. Next up is the great Ralph Carter. For years this album used to be really hard to find. People would pay tons of money for it, and I always kept my copy because it sounds really good. The songs are all great. It's all upbeat songs, kind of dance songs and stuff. Ralph Carter was on, let me get this right, he was on the Good Times with J.J. Walker and I think John Amos and Esther Roll. Ralph played the younger brother, but he released this album in, let's say, 1976. Yeah, I'm not sure if it made any impact. I think he had a couple of singles from this thing, but people just really wanted this album. It's very desirable. It's a very good album. I think it's kind of saturated the market now, and it's not worth as much as it used to be, but these cover images are taken by photographer Norman Seeff, who took lots of album cover photos, and this really shows Ralph's enthusiasm and his inner happiness. The album is called Young and in Love. And finally, here's the kind of album I really like. They're really albums like this that are just kind of plain and run-of-the-mill, no lettering. This is some sort of house with a lake and some weeping willows up here. It's very subdued, I guess is the word, and I'm not even sure what this album is called or who it is. It's the Norman Luboff Choir doing Songs of the South. It's on Columbia Records, and it's very strange that they would not put a title on this album, but still it's really nice. Be nice to put this in a frame and look at it some more. I was over at Target the other day, just looking around, and I went upstairs, and I was having my coffee, looking at all the Christmas stuff and seeing if there were any sales here and there were. Over at the end of the toy section, they were getting rid of a bunch of Funko Pops. Now, I've never been interested in Funko Pops. In fact, I've always thought they were kind of dumb and not very interesting. But all of their Funko Pops were about less than half price, just cheap, dirt cheap. So I found a couple, and one of them is what's his name? Hulk Hogan. I thought it was pretty nice, pretty neat, and it's encased in this big plastic box, there's Hulk Hogan in the background with Mr. T, and that's Hulk Hogan there. And I got another one along the same lines. It's kind of the matching pair. And the second one is it's Mr. T. There he is, Mr. T. And Mr. T and Hulk Hogan. So we've got Hulk Hogan, whoops, and Mr. T. And I was looking at these and I was wondering why the general graphics on the general packaging is real simple. It's but then it dawned on me that the Funko Pops are so small that they have to keep the rest of the packaging pretty stark and very simple or simplistic. So there's the great Mr. T Funko Pop and the great Hulk Hogan Funko Pop. The only thing that was wrong with this one was the top was torn a little bit, but I just put some glue on there. So that wraps it up.